Hi.
And welcome to Wheel Takes, a podcast that is normally about the Wheel of Time, but today it's about the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yeah.
I'm Allie, and I've read all of the Hunger Games except for the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yes, and also you've read the first 5 chapters of the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which feels like the more immediately relevant information.
Well, yeah, but normally we start out with the fact that we haven't read it, and that one of us has, and then we do the this episode's going to be about these chapters.
Yeah.
Why are you switching up our formula?
Because we don't say, if we're on Knife of Dreams, we don't say, I've read the first 10 Wheel of Time books. We say, I'm a first-time reader on Knife of Dreams chapter 7.
But I'm not a first-time reader of anything except for the Ballad of Songbirds.
Yeah, which is
Snakes.
what we're here to talk about. So I don't understand why this is different.
Okay, I'll start over.
No, it's
Hello.
No, this is fun. Please continue. Do you want me to cut all that? I can cut all that.
No,
I just
we
thought
can
it was
keep
kind
it.
of fun.
No, we can keep it.
I'm just confused.
All right, so.
I don't say I've read New Spring when I'm talking about Winter's Heart.
Yeah, but the relevant information, again, is that we haven't read the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Yeah, it's not that we have read the Hunger Games.
Yeah, well, that might be helpful for people who are like, well, okay, I know they haven't read the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but have they read the Hunger Games?
Yeah, but that's the secondary question.
Like, what if somebody picked up this episode today not knowing anything about us?
Because then what we would say is, I'm Gus, and I'm a first-time reader of the Ballad of Songbirds of Snakes on Chapter 5. And I also have read the Hunger Games. Or we would get to the spoiler section.
I feel like you're being pedantic.
This is what we did last episode. This is not new.
I was not paying attention to what we did last episode.
There you go.
And I stand by that.
Okay. Anyway, who are you and what have you read?
I'm Allie. And I've read all of the Hunger Games
That's
except
true.
for the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I am a first-time reader of the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes on who has read up to chapter 5.
Now watch how cumbersome that
You
was. Watch how streamlined
buffoon.
this is. And my name is Gus. I am on chapter 5 of the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I've read the Hunger Games.
That was
Economy
not any
of
more
words.
concise, you boffo
I have read
boy.
the entirety of the Hunger Games, and I am also someone do a word count. It's probably the same. This episode
Boffo boy.
contains spoilers for everything that we've already read, and today that's all of the Hunger Games and the first 5 chapters of tBoSaS.
tBoSaS.
Allie,
That sounds like a disease.
it does.
She's got that tBoSaS.
How are you?
I can't do this podcast today because I have tBoSaS. I came down with a case of tBoSaS.
You know what the cure is?
What? More cowbell?
No, there's not.
What?
It's chronic.
It's I have the chronic
Dab. Okay.
That's what we say whenever we talk about any of my chronic conditions. We just go, I have
Because
the chronic,
we're
and then we dab.
Agonizingly cringy and
I like to think of myself as agonizingly white.
it's true, we are. What did we talk about last week? How many chapters did we do?
I think just 1 and 2 because
Yes.
we spent a inordinate amount of time talking about the opening quotes for no reason.
Well, I know you didn't even know they were there because they're in italics, but
Rude.
this is what you said to me.
I think we just did 1 and 2.
Yeah, we did the first 2. Which means we're going to talk about 3, 4, and 5 today. And oh, what chapters they are. Are they not?
These chapters slap.
They were good. Lot going on.
I like them.
I believe I talked about chapter 2. I kind of led the reading for chapter 2. So do you want to lead chapter 3?
Yep. You going to critique my reading next?
No, you read beautifully.
Corey,
But first,
well, wait, don't we need to do our
there
notes?
it is. Yep,
Wait, so
yep.
why you set me up to fail?
No, I had all belief in you.
You were waiting for me to start reading so that you could do.
No.
But for
Well, that is true. I was.
Yeah. I'm not paranoid. Oh wait, no. Before we even get started on that, Gus.
Yes.
We have to talk about our bingo.
Oh, we do. You're right.
Okay, so we have some overlap.
Oh, they're on my computer. Hold on a second. I have to get it off. You start talking. I have to get mine from my computer.
Partially because Gus started going, I don't know what to put on mine. I don't know.
Defend myself because I'm away from the microphone.
I don't know what to do. I don't have enough information. And I was like, oh, do you think I just go into every book of Wheel of Time going, wow, I know all the information necessary.
Books and books of background information.
So do you.
I have 5 chapters.
Yeah, but we know what happens.
Later?
Yeah, so I went, I don't know, Gus. What can you come to expect from a book about the Hunger Games?
You're better at this than I am.
And then I asked leading questions. Now, I tried to steer him away as much as possible from mine because we're competing.
What? We
Are
are?
we competing?
Okay.
I just assumed we're competing.
Well, I guess we're competing.
Which just goes to show how much I love you that, like, I let you almost kind of peek at my test. A thing I would never do.
I didn't peek at a goddamn thing.
But I figured they'll be randomized on the board anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, worst case scenario. But anyway. So I'm going with a fuck the Capitol moment,
Good.
which is my free space. Heartbreaking young child death.
Agonizing.
Gruesome mutations.
Likely.
Sejanus dies.
Probably gonna happen. I think I have that too.
I think he's toast.
Yeah.
We can't have a good-hearted capital guy. Absolutely not. Coriolanus is mean to Tigris.
Good.
I feel like we're going to get that first glimpse of how this relationship falls apart. You know, because she, like, hates him in the book.
Highly likely. I would agree with that one as well.
Coriolanus' grandmother dies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would make sense.
Old lady?
Seems like that's
Old
likely.
lady? She's fucked. Sejanus has healing moment with his tribute. Like, you're not so bad for a capital guy.
Oh, I don't see that happening. I see him having only a bad relationship with this kid.
You don't think that they'll kind of, like, have a nice resolution?
No, because that would be sympathy between the capital and the districts, and we don't have that.
Yeah, but right in time for Sejanus to die.
Well, maybe.
So then that hope is squashed. No, Suzanne's going to offer us hope and then kill it right in front of us.
She does like to do that.
Yeah. / they're going to kill that guy. Capital interference in the games.
Likely.
Like unfair capital interference.
Very likely.
I actually think Snow, like, invents it. Like,
that also seems likely.
The parachutes, essentially.
Sure, I'd buy
we
that,
get to see an early rendition of that.
Yeah.
Sejanus' tribute gets sad death. So it's going to be like, you're not so bad for a capital guy. Stab. Or something.
Probably. Yeah, okay. If
like,
we go that way.
It'll be like the last thing he says.
I don't think so. This kid's getting a Thresh death.
Well, he
which
definitely
I guess is what you
Thresh.
just described. He is Thresh, yeah.
Yeah, but Thresh got a heartbreaking death.
Yeah, you're right.
They were all sad about Thresh.
But Thresh wasn't sympathetic to the capital when he died. He was sympathetic to our hero.
No, I don't think he's going to be sympathetic to the capital. I think he's going to be sympathetic to Sejanus.
Sejanus is the capital.
Sejanus is a district
metonym.
kid that got punted into the capital against his will.
He's a metonymic capital citizen.
Anonymic?
Metonymic.
Metonymic? What does that mean?
It's a metonym.
Okay, what?
The crown is a metonym for the royal family and ruling monarchy of England.
No, if any kid is a metonym, it's Coriolanus.
Yes, but Sejanus
You're
is also
mixing up the
a metonym.
anuses.
Well, one anus looks very much like another. When you've seen one. Oh, boy.
Are we not all the same? Do we not all have the same anus? All right. Origin of the careers forms. Unfair alliance.
Yeah.
Glimpse of young versions of other... Like, I think that, like, girl that sucks...
Yeah.
Is going to try to, like, form the... Like, do the first formation of the careers.
Olivia?
Yeah.
Olivia Cardew or whatever it was?
Whatever her name is.
It's probably not Cardew. That's
the girl was
Importance
like,
of Being
yes!
Honest. I'm thinking of. Yeah, that one. It was Livia. I'm pretty sure it was Livia.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be her contribution. Is she's going to be like, what if they all were made an alliance?
The dog is panting his head off next to us because he ran around for 30 seconds. So if you hear that, you're welcome.
Yeah, it's because we were playing soccer. And by soccer, I mean I kick the ball one time and then PD spends the rest of the time
just
keeping it away from me.
Fucking running around like a lunatic.
He has it in his
great.
mouth and just runs around, does like donuts in our backyard.
Yeah.
Okay. Glimpse of young versions of other major characters or their families. Like, so like, you know, young Mags or like young, like Caesar Flickerman's dad.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, I could
Augustus Flickerman.
I could see Mags getting mentioned.
Yeah, because hasn't she won by now?
Not necessarily. This is
Depending on how old she was.
This is the 10th games, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is 65 years ago. She's like maybe 80.
Oh yeah, and the
right?
youngest winner ever was 14.
Yeah, is possible. I just don't think it's likely.
Okay, I'm just saying.
All right, everybody keeps asking for dog sounds, so here you fucking go.
Katie got self-conscious.
He stopped. The second I put the mic near him, he stopped.
He got self-conscious. He's not used to having a microphone shoved in his face. Anyway. Maybe when he's asleep. Okay. But yeah, I could see a world in which we're like, oh, that's got to be so-and-so's grandpa or dad or whatever.
Sure.
Or we find out that the lady who Katniss put like the thing down the back.
Katniss, Lucy.
Or Lucy, sorry. Lucy put the snake down her back or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's Katniss's maternal grandmother.
Was not, because it's the mayor's kid.
Is the mayor a role that is passed down from parent to child? I thought that was an elected
maternal.
position.
Okay, yeah, sure, maybe.
I said maternal. Because remember, Katniss's mom said that her parents were not from the same. They were from like the fancy area that Peeta's from. And that they didn't approve of Katniss's dad.
But we never learned what her maiden name is. So I don't see how we could get that information. Unless there's
they go, one day we want a granddaughter named Katniss.
Kudzu, yeah. Okay, yeah. I guess.
I'm just...
I know I'm playing with you.
Okay. Coriolanus finds out District 13 is still around.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Coriolanus... No, you told me that was silly.
Yeah, but I've reconsidered.
Okay, but you didn't edit yours and we did share these before.
No, when I made this, you told me about these after I made my sheet. You didn't tell me what your guesses were. I just wanted you to
confirm for the people listening that you have not altered.
No, I haven't touched shit.
Okay. I didn't read him all of mine. I just told him a couple and he was like, that's not going to happen on that one. But I was like, yeah, it could because of the whole fact that he's, related, or like he's got a whole family connection to that. Coriolanus poisons his first person. That's his whole thing. Do you think he's not going to get started here?
No,
we're not going to see the origin of the poison?
They do talk about snakes.
The origin?
You're probably right. I doubted you very much when you first said this.
Yeah, I said that one too, and he was very doubtful. Okay, mean principal guy dies. I think there's a possibility that Coriolanus poisons him.
Poisons Highbottom?
Yeah. I'm trying to get two in a row.
Sure, okay.
Two at the same time.
I'd buy it.
Yeah.
I think it's possible.
He sucks.
Highbottom? Yeah, he's the worst.
I think it's possible that, like, he tries to expel Coriolanus and Coriolanus poisons him before he can.
Sure, that's possible.
Don't you see a world in which that could happen?
Yeah, I see it.
And then he's like, and now I'm still at the academy. Probably won't poison anyone ever again, though. And then we'll be like, dramatic irony. Oh my God, Suze. Evidence reveals she'll do it better than that, but you know what I mean. Evidence reveals Lucy was purposefully picked for the Hunger Games. I mean, we kind of already feel that, but I feel like there's potential for Lucy to go home and find that out for certain.
Say it again.
That there's evidence to support Lucy was purposefully picked for the Hunger Games, or it's confirmed in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like Lucy goes home and kills the mayor, I hope. Because he seems like a shit.
That would be nice. That guy sucks.
Yeah. And listen, before you all come for me, I just feel like he is benefiting from the power structures that be in some way. And
why
he's a
would
corrupt elected official.
Why would people come for you for saying the mayor sucks? The mayor sucks. Or is this going to be like a Finnick thing where it turns out the mayor is hot and has a tortured past?
What if
and we're
he
not
is
allowed
hot
to
and
have,
has a tortured past?
We're not allowed to form initial impressions on him. We have to understand the character's full arc first.
Here we go. And on that note, shitty mayor of District 12 dies, hopefully.
Man, fuck that guy.
Coriolanus high-key falls in love with Lucy. You gave me shit for this, because I also told you this one. And I just want to say that the level of obsession that he has with Katniss, to me, it feels very, I had my heart broken once.
Yeah, or maybe.
And I'm a, shitty person, and I've never let it go.
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He seems weirdly triggered by her. I don't think that he would be leaving Joanna Mason roses. And Joanna Mason is actively like, fuck you, Snow, and the horse you rode in on.
Maybe. Joanna Mason also didn't do as much of an effective resistance.
But she's part of it. I don't know. It just seems weird how obsessed he is with Katniss to a point where I'm like, what? Does she remind you of Lucy? Is that what's happening? Is that it? Okay.
Is that all yours?
No.
Okay.
Lucy and Sejanus hook up.
No.
Why did I think that would happen?
I don't know.
I
but
don't
you're
agree
committed
with that.
now.
I don't agree with that now, but I'm committed. I've committed to it. So we're committing to the bit. Why did I put that? I think I was just grasping at straws. Oh, I think you know what it is. It's that I was like, well, last Hunger Games had a love triangle, so maybe we have 2 boys and 1 girl again.
Last Hunger Games was written in the late 2000s, early 2010s, when love triangles were all the rage.
Well, I'm just saying, I thought it was a possibility.
Sure.
It was a possibility.
Sure.
So
Is that no? Okay.
No, Lucy wins the Hunger Games, obviously.
Yeah, I have that one too.
Yeah, there's no way Snow's losing. Tigress gives Lucy a makeover, which leads to the stylist happening in later games.
That's very specific,
so there's like a
but
correlation, probably.
I like it.
Or at least it's implied. Like there's a like, oh, you know what? We should do this for every games or something like that. And it's like, haha. And it's like, oh, fuck.
I like it. All right.
Wait. Sejanus
count.
participates in anti-capital rebellion.
No way.
Yeah.
No.
Well, how else does he die?
Snow like makes up some dirt on him. Rebellion? I don't see a rebellion happening in year 10 after the other rebellion.
A decade in? You don't see people going,
No.
This sucks?
No way.
You don't think that there's like some sympathetic rebel people? Like, you know, you don't think? Fine.
Not this soon, I don't
will
think.
see.
Maybe, but we'll see.
We will see. Mockingjay mention.
Yeah, okay, I could see.
Like a Mockingjay, like echoed, whatever.
Yeah.
Coriolanus becomes a game maker.
Yeah, likely, yeah.
Yeah. I think at some point they're going to be like, your ideas are really good, man. You should become a game maker. Someone gets executed. I feel like practically a free space.
Highly likely, yeah.
Singing of either the Meadow song, you know, the deep in the meadow, under the willow.
I don't know what that is.
That's the last song that the last song in it's like the first song she sings at the beginning of the Hunger Games, to Prim. And it's like the last song she sings at the end when her kids are like playing on the graveyard. It's like,
maybe. Yeah, I could see it.
Okay. That's my opinion.
That's yours? All right.
That's
here
what
we
I
go.
got.
Free space is anti-district classism. Lucy Gray kills Jessup. I'm leaning in.
Lucy Gray kills Jessup.
I'm leaning into Rue the Flayer this time.
Oh, because Jessup's her like district partner?
Yes.
Why would she kill Jessup though?
She doesn't like District 12. She doesn't give a shit. She's looking out for number 1.
Okay.
She is not an idealist. This is the biggest difference,
Okay.
I think, between Lucy Gray and Katniss. Lucy Gray probably is actually quite well matched for Snow, because I think she's looking out for herself, primarily.
She's like, I'm gonna win.
Yeah. Whereas Katniss was not. Katniss is extremely selfless.
Okay.
Coriolanus betrays Sejanus. District 2 boy attacks Sejanus.
You think he'd attack Sejanus?
I think he'd attack. I think Sejanus would come to him and be like, oh man, how can I make it up for you? And he'll just roundhouse him in the fucking face.
Damn. I could see that actually.
Yeah. Grand Mam.
And then he goes, hey, you're not that bad.
Grand Mam dies.
Oh, see, you seem surprised that I put Grand Mam dies.
I forgot I wrote this down.
Oh. Yeah, I feel like an old lady. It's inevitable.
Lucy Gray wins. Coriolanus gets...
Old lady in literature.
Yes, of course. Yes.
I should say.
Like explicitly very old woman in
Before
dystopian
anyone comes for me
literature.
for
We're
saying
not saying
old women
that
die.
universally. No. We're talking about, Coriolanus gets 3 strikes.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's definitely going to happen.
Highbottom overdoses, or quote-unquote overdoses.
Okay, see? So you think that he poisons him too?
I don't think it's impossible that he dies and is killed, and it is staged as though it was an overdose.
Okay.
I think he also might just make it all the way through. People are classist about the traveling people.
Seems like they've already been classist about the traveling people.
Lucy Gray implies it, but we haven't seen it.
We have to see it.
Young Mags mention, I did put that down. Okay. The arena gets a makeover.
Oh.
It's a good guess. The arena gets a makeover because right now it's just a football field.
Sure.
A tribute is executed.
A tribute specifically?
A tribute specifically is executed.
Why would that happen?
I don't know. They refuse to go along with something. They speak out in any way.
Sure.
Tigris Coriolanus Rift.
Okay.
Rose count 5 or more. We're at 1 right now. Mayor Lip's daughter lore dump.
Oh, like why does she hate you?
Yeah, what's going on there?
Okay.
Mutations introduced to games.
Oh, okay.
Lucy Gray gets overpowered gift. District 2 boy allies with Jessup.
So you think that they do gifts already?
I think they do them in the course of this games, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, me too. District 2 boy allies with Jessup.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Even though he's District 2?
Yeah, because he doesn't seem like he's fully on board with the whole Capital Rocks thing.
Sure.
Click disgraced.
Disgraced. From Snow?
Somehow.
Snow's behavior?
Yeah. Coriolanus gets scholarship.
But how does that align with the 3 strikes?
He gets out of it.
You think he gets out of it?
Somehow, yeah.
Okay.
Plinth family disgraced.
Lots of disgracing.
A lot of disgracing. We learn why Highbottom hates Coriolanus. The Hunger Games become wildly popular in world.
We learn how Highbottom hates Coriolanus. Do you think that there's like something deeper?
I think there's more than just you're kind of poor and called me high as a kite bottom.
Yeah. It does seem like a deep amount to hate a child.
Yeah. The Hunger Games become wildly popular in world. Everdeen, Malark, or Hawthorne family mention. I'm being specific here. I think we get a mention of one of those 3 families from probably Lucy.
There's one family that's nice to me.
And it's the Hawthorns, and Gus goes, no!
And
bullshit Hunger Games twist.
Oh my God, she marries like some guy named Hawthorne or something like that.
That would work.
Lucy Gray marries some guy with the last name Hawthorne.
Yep. And that's what I got.
And then we're like, oh my God.
She's Gail's grandmother.
What if?
God, Gail's the
or Katniss's, which is why he's so obsessed with her.
That could work too, but we would probably have heard that she is the granddaughter of the first victor.
We definitely would have heard that. You're right. You're right.
Lucy,
they would totally use that as like a...
Lucy's barely mentioned in the original trilogy. We just know there have been 2 victors. That's all we know.
Not a great track record.
No. So I actually feel like she probably doesn't end up being particularly famous after the games.
So Lucy might have mentored Haymitch, right?
Lucy probably mentored Haymitch. Yeah. I mean, yeah, probably.
Provided, she, of course, survives this whole affair.
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 3, Gus.
Before we get into that,
what?
We got to take a quick break for some ads.
And then, ads and then notes.
And then we have notes. Welcome back. We have notes. Do you want to go first?
Yes.
I only have 3 notes, so if I can go if you're
As
still
in the Hunger Games. Okay. Ladies first. All right, what are we on? Chapter 3. Coriolanus, ew. Protect Tigris at all costs. Oh, wait, you don't, because she ends up poor as fuck.
Yeah.
Just when you think the Hunger Games can't get any sadder, to think that the modern version of the games is an improvement and Snow might have thought he was doing them a kindness, sickening. This is one of those, would you kill baby, insert evil person here scenarios. Wow, this couldn't be happening to a worse person. Hate this for you.
All right, I got 3 notes. It's not lost on me that Snow is all about the games only as a selfish self-advancement thing.
Right.
Cattle cars, huh?
Ooh.
Snow, you fucking dolt.
Oh, and the fact that, like, they just put them in there and are, like, not worried about feeding them.
Yep, it's bad. All right, go off.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're going to kill them, at least treat them okay. I don't know. They're still kids. Jesus. All right. Chapter 3, Gus.
Yes, take it away.
Coriolanus stood on the empty train platform, awaiting his tribute's arrival. A long-stemmed white rose balanced carefully between his thumb and index finger.
Rose count 2.
it had been Tigris's idea to bring her a gift. So does he consider from that out like the roses to be a gift for Katniss, or
I don't know.
what are we thinking?
It certainly harkens back to this, right? Are there roses on the cover? Did I make that up? There are no roses on the cover. I feel like the movie poster has roses.
There are thorns, so maybe that's like a thorn bushy thing. There's a snake and a bird.
Oh yeah, the movie poster is covered in roses.
Let me see.
Look at that.
Roses galore.
That's at least 5.
Are we going to finish this book by the time that comes out?
What movie?
Oop. Jesus. Okay. She had arrived home very late on the night of the reaping, but he had waited up to consult with her, to tell her of his humiliations and fears. She refused to let the conversation spin into despair. He would get a prize. He would have to. And have a brilliant university career. As to the apartment, they must find out the specifics first. Perhaps the tax would not affect them. I bet it does.
It's gonna.
Or even if it did, maybe not soon. It will be soon. Maybe they could scrape up enough for the taxes somehow. I bet they won't. But he was to think of none of that.
Well, I mean, they're not going to get kicked out of their apartment. He's going to get, made wealthy by the games somehow.
You think?
They're not going to lose their apartment. No way.
I think he has to do some fucked up things.
He has to do some
fucked
up shit, but he's not going to lose it. No.
I bet it's like a last second thing, though.
Probably.
Yeah. Only of the Hunger Games and how he might make a success of it. Oh, and so Tigris is like at Fabricia's reaping party. Everyone was talking about Lucy Greybeard. Like he's got like a star quality tribute, and that he should treat her not as a condemned prisoner, but as a guest so that she's willing to work with him.
Which is,
And so he decided to greet her at the train station.
Fucked up in and of itself because, they're basically all condemned prisoners.
Right.
I mean,
all but one.
I don't know what's worse, honestly. Is this worse or is the Hunger Games later worse? Because I feel like they're both worse for different reasons.
I think it depends on what you mean. Yeah. The fact that it becomes a cultural phenomenon and that people are like rooting for or against it and treating it like a sporting event or like a reality TV show is fucked.
Yeah.
In like a societal way. But at least like the kids have somewhat of a chance.
Well, I mean, one of them wins no matter what, right? So now there is also somewhat of a chance, but like in down the line.
No, but I mean, like they can have a chance to show their skills, get sponsors, get like that could lead to gifts in the game that are life-saving. So it's not just about like who can throw a rock the hardest.
Yeah, but then it's sensationalized. And
I started with that, so now I'm going on that. I'm now on the other foot.
Sure.
Where I'm like, at least they don't starve them in a cattle car on the way.
But now they're fattening them up to get a better show out of them.
I'm not saying the other is better.
No,
I'm
sure.
saying
I agree with you. I'm just saying.
I could see a world in which Coriolanus Snow justifies it to himself as like, we are making it like better for the tributes.
Yeah.
And making it more quote unquote fair.
Yeah.
Which it's not fair because obviously the careers are usually going to win. But he could look at it as like, well, they get treated well before they die.
Yeah. Yeah.
They get like fed a lot of nice food. They get to be on TV. They get like to get all dressed up.
Sure.
It's all fucked up in a different way. But I could see a world in which Coriolanus justifies it to himself as, well, you should have seen what it was before. It was way worse.
Yeah, I suppose. Oh, we got to talk about, Simon pointed out online that Grandmam's scraping and scrimping and careful planning that kept the Snow family from, dying out or turning to cannibalism is a really good thematic counterpoint to, and again, it's full spoilers for the Hunger Games trilogy, Katniss's mom basically turning completely inward in a time of
that's
grief.
Right. That was a really good point. And I thought about that last week, and I don't know why I didn't say it.
We had a lot of other stuff to talk about.
I was kind of like, this feels like a lot more of an active participant. I mean, even though she was at the time grieving, because at least Coriolanus's parents died.
At least one of her kids died. And her husband too, right?
Yeah. Her husband was dead, I think. her son.
Her husband and son
and her
both died in
daughter-in-law.
the war, I believe.
Yeah.
And her daughter-in-law got killed by like a bomb in the capital?
No, she had a baby and it went wrong.
Oh, okay.
Because women can't have babies in literature without it going wrong in some way. And I mean, who knows where Tigress's parents are? I'm assuming it's probably also not good.
Probably bad.
So, I wonder if we'll find out. So Coriolanus decides to bring Lucy one of his grandmother's roses.
Yep.
Because apparently they're prized in the capital.
And he has one trick. Give Rose.
Yeah. He's like, this'll be nice. Her cooperation was imperative. Yesterday, Satyria had led a mentor meeting in which the first assignment had been detailed. In the past, the tributes had gone directly into the arena the morning after they'd all arrived in the capital. But the timeline had been extended now that the academy students were involved. It had been decided that each mentor was to interview their tributes and would be given 5 minutes to present them to Panem on a live television program. If people had someone to root for, they might actually have an interest in watching the Hunger Games.
So it's not centralized through Stanley Tucci anymore. Yet, I should say.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
If all went well, it would be primetime viewing.
Man, I don't know. It feels like it's even more fucked up that the Hunger Games are now essentially a school project.
Yeah.
Like, it's all bad.
Make friends with this kid from a district so that they can die.
You'll be graded on how well you coach this child to death. Or in a very unlikely survival.
Jesus. The mentors might even be invited to comment about their tributes during the games. Coriolanus promised himself that his 5 minutes would be the standout of the night.
I did consider putting on my bingo sheet, Coriolanus totally beefs the interview, but I did not. And I feel like even if he did beef the interview, Lucy Gray would do a good job because she has an appalling amount of stage presence.
Yeah, I feel like she's got this in the bag.
Yeah.
We get a little backstory on Coriolanus' dad. Those first few months of war, the whistle had signaled his father's arrival from the battlefield. His father had felt that, as a munitions tycoon, military service enhanced his legitimacy in the family business. With an excellent head for strategy, nerves of steel, and a commanding presence, he quickly climbed the ranks. To publicly display their commitment to the capital cause, the Snow family would all travel to the station, Coriolanus in his velvet suit, to await the great man's return, until the day the train brought only the news that a rebel bullet had found its mark.
Right, he died.
It was hard, in the capital, to find a spot that wasn't linked to a terrible memory, but this was particularly bad. He could not say he had felt great love for the remote, strict man, but he had certainly felt protected by him. His death was associated with a fear and vulnerability that Coriolanus had never been able to shake off. So, yeah, I mean, Grand Mam's comparisons with Kudzu Everdeen are pretty striking here. Granted, it's a son, not a husband, but I feel like that might even be worse.
Oh, God, yeah.
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 I mean, that is worse.
I feel like pretty much every parent would tell you that's worse.
Listen, I assumed so.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I assume that's worse. I've never had a child, but everything I know about it says it's worse. I just don't want to assume what Grand Mam and her son's relationship was.
I gotcha.
And then the train pulls up and he assumes it's the wrong train until he hears human cries coming from one of the cargo cars. Yeah, because he thinks
it'll have like fanfare, something, but it does not.
So again, this is why I'm assuming that he thought, even though he is wrong and stupid, that his version of the games is better than what they had before for the tributes. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we get some descriptions of some of the other tributes. A tall boy with dark brown skin and patched burlap clothing appeared in the doorway. Coriolanus recognized him as Clemencia's tribute from District 11. Rangy but muscular. That's Thresh, really, though.
Yeah, probably.
Right? Isn't he from 11?
Yes.
Yeah. A girl with similar coloring but a skeletal frame and a hacking cough joined him, so that's Rue. Both of them were barefoot with their hands cuffed in front of their bodies. It was a 5-foot drop to the ground, so they sat on the edge of the car before launching themselves awkwardly onto the platform. A small pasty-faced girl in a striped dress and a red scarf crawled to the door, but seemed unable to figure out how to cover the distance to the ground.
Horrible.
The peacekeeper yanked her down, and she landed hard, barely catching herself with her bound hands.
Horrible.
See, so I could see a world in which Coriolanus justifies, like, at least it's better than that.
Yeah, I guess.
Then he reached into the car and dragged out a boy who looked about 10 years old, but had to be at least 12, and hauled him onto the platform as well. So then, he smells how bad the car smells. Everyone looks dirty and like they haven't eaten.
They all come in on one train, too.
Right.
Which is kind of weird when you think about it.
Well, like, what's to stop them from just trying to kill each other then?
No, I'm saying they are all coming from different places.
I thought yeah. Well, I think their rail system is not as...
I know. I'm just saying,
good.
like, that must be an extremely long trip.
Yeah, and they haven't eaten.
And it's kind of weird. But I'm not going to think about it too much. I understand it's a good scene.
So then he sees Jessup, and then, of course, the main event. Lucy Greybeard stepped into the light, her cuffed hands half covering her eyes as they adjusted. Jessup reached up his arms, his wrists spread as wide as the chain on his restraints would allow, and she fell forward,
chained. Good Lord.
letting him catch her by the waist and swing her to the ground in a surprisingly graceful move. She patted the boy's sleeve in thanks and tilted her head back to drink in the sunlight streaming into the station. Her fingers began combing through her curls, untangling the knots and picking out bits of straw. I mean, she seems to like Jessup fine.
Now.
What, you think she's manipulating him?
I think she is I think she's ruthless. And I know I've said that about every fucking character in the Hunger Games so far, and I'm always wrong.
Not necessarily. There have been some ruthless people.
Yeah.
Anabaria.
Well, yeah, her teeth were filed. The points. That didn't surprise me much.
That could have been a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
There are theories that was done against her will.
Told her dentist to get to the point. I know.
So then he goes up to her and he goes, "Welcome to the capital." The girl sized him up, and for a minute he feared she was going to either walk away or, worse, laugh at him. Instead, she reached out and delicately plucked a petal from the flower in his hand. "When I was little, they used to bathe me in buttermilk and rose petals," she said in a manner that, despite the unlikeliness of her claim, seemed totally believable. She ran her thumb over the glossy white surface and slipped the petal into her mouth, closing her eyes to savor the flavor. "Tastes like bedtime."
We've decided she's Southern.
She's from Appalachia.
Appalachia is not inherently the South.
Don't they have an accent, a Southern accent?
No.
No?
Not necessarily, no.
I've seen Winter's Bone.
Winter's Bone is set in a very specific part of Appalachia.
Well, this could be that very same specific part of Appalachia.
I don't think Appalachia, as a rule, it's in the east. It goes up to New York.
Well, I have decided, and I'm not going back.
Katniss never had a Southern accent.
I just assumed that she would have an accent to him.
Yeah, and admittedly, she's not from Appalachia. She was traveling into Appalachia.
Yeah, so she was from the circus.
Yeah.
Who knows what accent she
has?
has?
I did the same thing last week. I don't have a problem with her having a Southern accent.
You did do the same thing.
Yeah,
Why
I gave
are you
her
giving
this
me a hard time?
I'm not upset about it.
Are we having a give Allie a hard time?
No,
episode?
I wasn't. I was asking, are we committing? Are we both committing to that?
This podcast is brought to you by Strife.
What?
Strife. So he introduces himself to her. What do you think about her, like, initial introduction to him?
The rose and everything?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's calculated. I mean, she's a performer. She's a trained performer, apparently. She's probably spent most of her childhood in performance.
Right.
So I think she's
charming him on purpose.
I think she's on at all times. And I think she also knows, like, this guy is the person who can help me, not die.
I think it's a fun reversal on Suze's part to go, okay, my last one was not a performer.
Yeah.
Like, very much not.
Oh, yeah. No, she's
like
very...
The more they tried to get her to perform, the worse she did. Yeah. This gal... She's like, I'm going to make her a performer.
She's always on, yeah.
She's always on. This is how she's going to be different from Katniss. I think she's flirting with him a little bit.
A little bit. I see it.
But I think you're right. I think it's calculated. I think she's like, this might be the key to my survival. Well, so I'm going to endear myself to him in some way.
In no small way, it seems like Lucy and her personality is kind of what presages the... Presage? I don't know how to pronounce that word. I've only read it. Kind of like the entire path that the Hunger Games takes in the future.
Right. It's all very like
It's highly
win me
stylized.
over.
Yeah, highly stylized.
It's win me over.
Yeah, highly performative.
Highly performative, which is why I'm like, I think we're going to see a lot of Lucy and Anus kind of giving us that first look into what the Hunger Games becomes.
Yeah,
so like their strategies, I think, will inform what they ultimately do.
Yeah.
Oh, and she calls him a rebel.
Yeah, that's a notable moment.
Because he met her on his own terms, and he thinks that word was poison in the mouths of capital citizens, but she said it approvingly as a compliment. Or was she mocking him? He's very concerned about her making fun of him.
He cares a lot about appearance.
He does not have a good sense of humor, this guy.
No, he does. Snow? No.
Takes himself way too seriously.
Always has, always will.
So the peacekeepers toss 2 half-starved children onto the platform. The girl broke a front tooth on the platform, while the boy received several sharp kicks upon landing. Nice.
Not good.
And she looks at him and she says, "Well, good luck, gorgeous."
At the kid or at Snow?
Snow.
Oh, yeah, no, she's flirting with him for sure.
And walked back to Jessup, leaving him and his rose behind. As the peacekeepers herded the tributes across the station to the main entrance, Coriolanus felt his chance slipping away. He had not secured her trust. He had not done anything except perhaps amuse her for a moment. Clearly, she thought he was useless, and maybe she was right. But with all that was at stake, he had to try. He ran across the station, catching up to the pack of tributes as they reached the door. "Excuse me," he said to the peacekeeper in charge. "I'm Coriolanus Snow from the Academy." He inclined his head toward Lucy Gray. "This tribute has been assigned to me for the Hunger Games. I wonder if I might accompany her to her quarters." "That's why you've been hanging around here all morning? To catch a ride to the show?" Apparently, yeah, he and the peacekeeper's drunk. "Well, by all means, Mr. Snow, join the party." It was then that Coriolanus saw the truck that awaited the tributes. Less a truck than a cage on wheels. The bed was enclosed by metal bars and topped with a steel roof. He again flashed back to the circus of his childhood, where he had seen wild animals, big cats and bears, confined to such transport.
That's loaded.
Following orders, yeah, that's super loaded. The tributes presented their cuffs for removal and climbed into the cage. Coriolanus hung back, but then saw Lucy Gray watching him and knew this was the moment of judgment. He backed down now. It would all be over. She would think he was a coward and dismiss him entirely. He took a deep breath and hoisted himself into the cage. So, my favorite thing is that immediately he goes, "This was a mistake.
I should not have done that.
It smells bad.
I immediately regret this."
And all the tributes are staring at me.
I think it's interesting so far in this book, they've leaned really hard into the Capitol views the district people as basically subhuman.
Yeah.
You know, like, because there's always that undercurrent of that. They kind of dehumanize them in the main trilogy, but here we get to see it from the other side, and the imagery is explicit, right? It's not like dancing bears. It's not trained animals. It's just like they're in a cage. They're in an animal.
Right.
They're in a cattle car. They're in an animal, transport van.
Right. And again, like, I mean, the modern Hunger Games are also awful in a different way, but at least you're not having the citizens like beating the shit out of the tributes.
Yeah.
You know, like taking out their clear war anger on these kids. I mean, they're like cheering for them and like excited about them. It's like horrible and gross in a different way.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I suppose if I were to pick between the two, if I had to pick, I would pick the modern games.
Probably, yes.
Right?
Although it's the modern games are presented in a way that is so much more like the games at this point in the history of Panem are kind of dying, right? We talked about this last week.
I know. And you're like, Anus, just let them die.
Yeah. Like people are kind of like, well, nobody's really into it. It's kind of hard to justify why we keep doing this, except as like punishment and a reminder.
And Anus is like, hold my rose.
Yeah. He goes, well, as a former theater kid.
As a kid, just dying for the stage.
As somebody who loves the drama.
I mean, we joked a bunch during the Hunger Games that he's just a theater kid.
Oh, he totally
But I'm
is.
like, but maybe he learned it from her.
He probably did learn it from her, because he certainly doesn't seem like he is now. He has good instincts.
Yeah.
You know,
he's
all
got
the stuff
political instincts,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have the
showmanship.
panache.
He doesn't have showmanship yet.
Yeah. And Lucy's got panache.
Yep.
She's got presence. And the kids start mocking him. Like the District 11 boy basically is like threatening him. And the District 11 girl is basically like, yeah, he killed a peacekeeper back in 11. They never found out who did it. He might kill you. And they're like, let's all kill him.
Not ideal.
Not great.
But also, like, what did you think was going to happen? You clown.
Yeah.
Hop in the fucking prisoner van with the people who you're taking to be executed, except for one of them.
Yeah, because they're like, well, we might as well kill him.
They're going to die anyway, yeah.
Because there's nothing they could do to us. And from the corner...
Well, their families, I guess, but, you know.
Well, from the corner, Lucy Gray's melodic voice broke the tension. Not to us, maybe. Oh, melodic voice.
Melodic does imply a lilt, yeah.
Yeah. Not to us, maybe. You got family back home? Someone they could punish there? This seemed to take the wind out of the other tribute's sails. So, yeah. So, and I don't know if that plants in his brain, like, oh, they have family back home.
Remember this for the future.
File that away.
Coriolanus will remember that. It's a fucking telltale game.
Exactly. And she says, besides, he's my mentor. Supposed to help me. I might need him. How come you get a mentor? Asked Jill. Mentor. You each get one, explained Coriolanus, trying to sound on top of the situation. So, yeah. So, luckily, he does not get killed, thanks to Lucy. But he probably should have thought about that. And then they basically get put into a chute.
Yeah, they tip the whole... They, like, dump truck them
Yeah,
in.
they basically got dumped into this thing. Sunlight glared down on Coriolanus as he scrambled to untangle his body from the pack. He staggered out a few yards, righted himself, and froze in horror. This was not the stables. While he had not visited in many years, he remembered it clearly now. The stretch of sand, the artificial rock formations twisting high in the air, the row of metal bars engraved to look like vines curved in a wide arc to protect the audience. Between the sets of bars, the faces of capital children gawked at him. He was in the monkey house at the zoo.
Bad. Unfortunate.
Awful.
Bad. That's the end of chapter 3. Chapter 4, Allie, is called Nothing because they don't have titles. Notes. I'll go first this time. I only have a few. What a phenomenal slogan. So many layers to that one. It's the news slogan. You remember this?
No.
If you didn't see it here, it didn't happen.
Considering how much propo there is later.
Heavily loaded. Once again commenting on the nature of celebrity. Oh, she's a traveling person. Interesting.
That's all you got?
Havensby's already powerful, I see, because of Havensby Hall. And then I wrote, oh, a time clock.
Oh, right.
Because he says, you know, three fuck-ups and you're out on your ear, kid.
Yeah. We get some kind of narrative structure.
I wonder if out on your ear is meant to be, is actually just like out on your ass, but said politely. Because instead of out on your ass, it's out on your ear, but it sounds like you're saying out on your rear.
Oh.
I wonder. I don't actually know the history of that phrase.
I like that. I'll take it. Okay, chapter 4 for me. Coriolanus, ew. I will do that every time.
Please continue.
Oh, I'm sorry, Anus. Do you not like having your vulnerable moments broadcasted for the world to see? With unpopular people, such a minor effect went such a long way. Oh, Anus, you beautiful sociopath. It's a pity that Lucy isn't as fun a name as Water Potato.
It is.
Modified to have the jaw strength of a pit bull. Fun fact, pit bulls actually do not have stronger jaws than any other dog. Oh, early days of mutations. Experimental weapons division. Thanks. I
caught that bit. That was fun.
I feel like a potential arc is Snow finally understanding why they do the Hunger Games. Because, like, he goes, do you know why we do the Hunger Games? And he's like, no.
Well, he must kind of understand it.
He's like, to
he gets the surface
punish
level
the
of
rebels.
It,
yeah. And eventually, I feel like it's going to be like, I get it.
I understand.
My God, I get it. $10 high bottom is the first person snow poisons.
You did say that.
I did say that. Oh no.
Oh, nor.
Oh no.
Nor.
Still could not be happening to a worse person.
All right, chapter 4. He could not have felt more exposed had he been standing naked in the middle of the Corso. At least then he would have had the option to escape. Now he was trapped and on display, for the first time appreciating the animal's inability to hide. And kids are pointing at him. And
he's like, I have an idea.
People are looking at him, and there's a camera there. It's a Capital News camera. We got to talk about this slogan. If you didn't see it here, it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's loaded considering all the propaganda. And I mean, they're just saying it. They're just saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, right. It's got so many different kind of like implications and meanings. We talk.
What year did she write this in?
2020. If you see it here, it matters. If you see it here,
if you see it here, it matters.
And it
if
is the
not,
narrative.
then it doesn't. If you see it here, it's true.
Yeah.
If you didn't see it here, it's not true.
If you didn't see it here, don't listen to it. It's not real. If you didn't see it here, it's fake. If you didn't see it here, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Ignore the things that are happening right in front of your eyes and just listen to what we're telling you.
So he worries about what the headlines are going to be. He's expecting snow's meltdown or too hot for snow or something. And he's like, all right, well, fuck it. I guess I'm just going to act like I'm totally fine with this.
It is a shame that you have such a punny last name because they can really do some damage with that.
And people start pointing at him and being like, what the fuck are you doing in there? So is this maybe the first year they've done this? Because I guess he wasn't aware that they would do this.
It must be, right? Because he seems really surprised that that's where they're holding them.
Yeah. Or he's just never paid attention.
That too. I mean, he has had a lot of shit going on.
Well, and also the games were less sensationalized before.
Right. So I don't know.
I love this. Who were all these people hanging around on a weekday at the zoo? Didn't they have jobs? Shouldn't the children be in school? No wonder the country was such a mess.
All right. He is kind of funny. But not good. But he is kind of funny.
So he's freaking out. He's starting to have a total freak out. His limbs felt...
It must be so nice to have, the ability to be shocked by the situations you wind up in. You know what I mean? Like that is a level of grace that I do not have. Like everything that happens to me, weird situations that I end up in, I'm just like, of course. Obviously.
His limbs felt numb, his lungs starved for air. He was beginning to consider making a break for the chute and attempting to climb it when a voice behind him softly said, "Own it." Without turning, he knew it was the girl. His girl. And he felt immense relief that he was not entirely alone.
Improv rules. You gotta own it. Whatever's going on. Be wrong boldly. And joyfully.
So he sticks his hand out to Lucy and brings her forward to show her off to the audience. And this is another note to your he's gonna fall in love with her. The edges of Lucy Gray's mouth curled up. As she took his hand, her touch sent a tiny electrical spark up his arm, and he felt as if a bit of her on-stage charisma had been transferred to him. She's on stage, you're on stage, this is the show, he thought. He lifted his head and asked, "Would you care to meet a few of my neighbors?"
Men will literally become despots instead of going to therapy. Like truly, I really do feel like he has the level of obsession and weirdness toward Katniss that could only come from being a douchey guy who doesn't get the girl feels like he was owed her.
I'd buy it.
That is a level of rage and I just feel like I know men like this, and I know men like this when they don't get what they want, and how, especially when it comes to women, and how shitty they can be.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
And I just feel like there was always that level of why is he so obsessed with her? And I do feel like, unfortunately, it would make a lot of sense if he was I just never got over that the spunky girl from District 12
rejected me. So he takes her.
So I decided to become a problem.
He takes her around.
I decided to make my rejection everyone else's problem.
So he shows her off, essentially.
History's full of men like this.
Okay. Can I finish the goddamn sentence?
No, you cannot.
He shows her off, and he goes with these kids. There's kids here.
Yeah, it's so fucked up.
And he goes up to these kids.
I can't think of a better thing to do on a Friday.
I know, my God.
Like, hey, kids, you want to go see some other kids who are going to die?
How do you do? He said. I brought along a friend of mine today. Would you like to meet her? The children shifted around, and there were a few giggles. And then one little boy shouted, "Yeah!" He slapped the bars with his hands a few times, then shoved them in his pockets uncertainly. We saw her on the television. Coriolanus led Lucy Gray right up to the bars. May I present Miss Lucy Gray Baird? And she goes down on one knee and goes, Hi there. I'm Lucy Gray. What's your name?
Look, it's indoctrination. We're indoctrinating these kids into the future consumers of the Hunger Games.
And they shake hands.
Because I'm feeling like the parents, even though they like obviously hate the rebels because, because of everything they've been through and there's all this mutual resentment. They still, I think, to a certain extent, recognize that these are children being murdered.
Yeah.
Right? Like, even though they're dehumanizing them, and like, I feel like partially like the putting them in the cage at the zoo is like trying to further dehumanize them for the people. You have to think that like, if you see children killing each other, that no reasonable adult would be like, this is good
and we should abide by it.
We like this. But they might consider it like a necessary evil or like not their business or not their problem, la-da-da-da-da. But to really get that level of fervor and fanfare that the Hunger Games has, it's the indoctrination of the children that is going to be what's important.
And she does just go and talk to all these kids. Because she kind of leads Coriolanus over to the kids.
Yeah, because then they can have this this like, it's my favorite sports player, but really...
Well, it's the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this girl goes, Did you bring your snake? I sure wish I could have. That snake was a particular friend of mine. Do you have a pet? I have a fish. His name is Bub. Can I touch your dress?
Bub is a really good fish name.
It is.
Just going to put that out there.
And then they get to the camera, and Lucy gets to the camera and like does a little jump and goes, Oh, hi there. Are we on television? Like you didn't fucking know.
Like you didn't fucking know.
Now, she's a victim here, and I'm not blaming her for this. She's doing what she needs to do to survive.
Oh, no. We are the last people to hate on a performer. I'm impressed with her, honestly. She's only, 16?
Probably, yeah.
This is impressive chops for a 16-year-old. This is a lot of wherewithal.
So she's very clever here because she talks to all the kids and gets that on camera and then acts like she didn't know she was on camera.
Which is charming.
So she's really, really playing the game. I think she's kind of doing what I had predicted that PETA was doing.
Well, and the quickest way to people's hearts, yes, she's PETA's grandma.
She's PETA.
But I feel like she gets that. No, I think she probably doesn't have any kids.
No, and if she did, it wouldn't be with someone from 12. And they wouldn't be, in 12, probably.
Maybe the reason why the Victor's Village exists is because she's like, I want a place away from these fucking people.
Could be. Well, because she talks to the reporter, Lepidus Malmsey, who goes, So, Lucy, you're the tribute from District 12? It's Lucy Gray, and I'm not really from 12. My people are Covey. Musicians by trade. We just took a wrong turn one day and were obliged to stay. Oh, so what district are you from, then? But no district in particular. We moved from place to place as the fancy takes us. Well, we used to anyway, before the peacekeepers rounded us up a few years back. But now you're District 12 citizens. If you say so. Lucy Gray's eyes drifted back to the crowd, as if she was in danger of being bored. And they talk about her dress and her mother, who is dead.
Oh, yeah. And she says it very poetically. She's like, her bones are...
Well, the Covey love color and me more than most, but this was my mama's, so it's extra special to me. She's in District 12? Lepidus asked. Just her bones, darling. Just her pearly white bones. And then she takes pearly white bones directly to, So do you know my mentor? He says his name is Coriolanus Snow. He's a capital boy. And clearly I got the cake with the cream because nobody else's mentor even bothered to show up to welcome them.
Snow's got cake, huh? Is that canon?
Got a dumpy. How does this go over?
He's
now
got that Pixar mom ass.
She kicks the can over to Snow. How's this go? Does he handle it well?
Yeah.
Yeah, he handles it surprisingly well.
Yeah. He's taken a page out of her book and going, oh, okay, if I look like I'm panicking, it looks worse. I have to look like I'm under control at all times.
Mm-hmm. You didn't have a second thought about diving into a cage of tributes? The second, a third, and I imagine the fourth and fifth will be hitting me sometime soon, but if she's brave enough to be here, shouldn't I be? Oh, for the record, I didn't have a choice, says Lucy Gray. For the record, neither did I. After I heard you sing, I couldn't keep away. I confess, I'm a fan. And then the peacekeepers walk in. They're like, get him out of the fucking cage right the fuck now. And they drag him out and yell at him. Isn't this what he gets the strike for?
Yes, for being in the cage.
But yeah, they take him all the way to the academy.
I think because they're like, you put yourself at risk and also you made the academy look stupid.
They sit him down at the outside the biology building, and he has a visceral reaction to the smell of formaldehyde because he hates how it smells, which is interesting note.
I guess he's been around a lot of death, right?
I suppose. And then he looks at the postings for all of the Hunger Games and the mentors, and I'm just going to point out any names that I recognize or surnames I recognize. Obviously, Sejanus has District 2 boy.
Livia Cardew, that was the girl who
Livia
screamed.
Cardew, I was right, yeah. There appears to be siblings in District 6 that have mentors. Apollo Ring and Diana Ring. And then
I wonder if that matters.
Hilarious Havensby is District 8's girls mentor.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. Imagine you have that name and you have no sense of humor.
And the other District 12...
you are the most unfunny fuck.
Jessup's mentor is named Lysistrata.
How's her sex life?
I don't recognize any other names. Crane? Seneca Crane. Yeah, Arachne Crane is District 10's mentor. District 10 girl. Crane, Seneca Crane. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wait, Seneca Crane was...
the game maker for
right.
74, yeah.
Oh, Arachne Crane.
I don't see any other last names that we'd recognize. Price? No. Fling? No. Sickle. There's a sickle in this book.
I feel like there was a sickle before.
There's a sickle in this book. It's Click and Sickle, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, so that's a relative.
Yeah, that's this. Yeah.
Yeah, Sickle's the like the gym teacher or something.
Yeah.
That Sejanus works with.
So he goes in. It's just Dean Highbottom and a woman who is playing with mutations. Volumnia Gall.
Good name.
Head game maker as well.
Oh.
She's done a lot of fucky shit.
So we're definitely going to get mutations.
Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. This is the thing with the rabbit with the jaw strength of a pit bull.
Yikes. But also, fun fact.
Pit bulls don't have
necessarily stronger jaws than any other dog.
She's a little quirky because she just keeps like she's excited about her murder rabbit and she keeps going hippity hoppity. Just the once, I guess. No, twice actually. Hippity hoppity. Dr. Gall grinned. How was the zoo? Then she was laughing. It's like a children's rhyme. Hippity hoppity. How was the zoo? You fell in a cage and you tripped. You did too. And he's like,
yeah, it was a riot.
Yep. Should I be laughing? Or like, how am I supposed to fucking react to this shit?
You think it's cool to treat the tributes this way?
I did. We did. We fell in a cage. She goes, and we landed on stage.
There you go.
It rhymes.
That does.
Exactly. That's exactly what you did. You're good at games. Maybe one day you'll be a game maker. And he's like,
I don't need to be good at math to know that you're a psychopath.
Hey, Anyway, what goes down here? You know, they discuss what happened and how she's kind of excited about it. She thinks it was a great thing that he showed up, and how does Highbottom feel about it?
Oh, very mad.
Furious.
So
very
pissed.
upset. You see, Casca, this one took the initiative. He understands the importance of keeping the games alive.
He literally creates the strike rules against him just to cross one off.
Highbottom goes, does he? Or is he just showboating for a better grade? What do you think the purpose of the Hunger Games is, Coriolanus? To punish the districts for the rebellion? Yes, but punishment could take a myriad of forms. Why the Hunger Games? Because it's, as you said earlier, because of the children, how they matter to people. How do they matter? People love children? And then he thinks about all of the horrible things that were done to children during the war. And he goes, sometimes they do. I don't know why.
We have introduced ourselves to an arc, a narrative arc. Now, this is the beginning where he's like, I don't know. But by the end, you
bet your ass he's going to know.
Sweet little butt.
He's going to have a very firm understanding of why.
Yeah. We just gave us a nice little bookend, Suzanne. We just gave us a nice little bookend. I see you writing. Excellent.
Highbottom calls this a failed experiment. He calls the games a failed experiment.
And
Gall,
then Coriolanus once again says, hold my rose.
I can fix that. Gall goes, it is if no one watches. He's a child himself. Give him time. I've got a good feeling about this one. Well, I'm off to visit my mutts. Very hush-hush, but there's something wonderful going on with the reptiles.
I feel like we're going to find out what that is.
Yeah, we're going to see that.
That's what we call
foreshadowing. And anyway, as you mentioned earlier, Highbottom is like, anyway, you fucking suck, and you got to get better at not being the worst in arbitrary ways that I will determine.
I mean, can we learn what the rules are, or are we just going to introduce a arbitrary strike system? Okay, we're going to introduce
receiving
an
a demerit for engaging in reckless behavior that could have injured a student, you, namely. It'll go on your permanent record. And he's like, what the fuck is that? All right, whatever, that's fine, whatever. And then Highbottom takes some drugs and goes, 3 such demerits, and you'll be expelled. And that's the very dramatic end of chapter 4. Chapter 5, yeah.
Coriolanus, ew.
I only have one note.
Was he trying to outdo him? No, you absolute trash bag. It's because in another life he could very well have been them.
Mm-hmm.
With because Sejanus shows up with the sandwiches, and Coriolanus' instant thought is he trying to outdo me?
It's a feint.
Absolute trash
no,
bag.
dude, he has sympathy.
His mother wore rose powder. Freud is screaming.
Is that rose count 3?
Oh, it is.
And yes, I know I'm playing fast and loose with the sounds.
Ugh. I am just seeing the origins of why Snow changes things to be the way they are. How awful it is for Sejanus to be mentoring Marcus specifically.
It's Marcus, okay.
Yeah, but that's definitely why Snow changes it so that the mentors are people because if the mentors are people from the capital, eventually the mentors from the capital might start to feel feelings about which I feel like Snow does, about their tributes, versus it's a continued punishment for the victors. I feel like also, what better punishment for a woman who breaks your heart than to be like, fine, then you get to mentor every child that has to do this. Congrats. Have fun with the rest of your life, living in peace. Ugh. And what it means to have a star, quote unquote, with all of the interviewing and shit, it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Kronk voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's all coming together. We just need to add that to the soundboard. Yeah. It's all coming together. Okay. Coriolanus. Oh, wait. Nope. It's your turn.
I only have one, and it's genetic arc. Huh?
What was that about?
They mention she's doing these little tiny world building snippets because he talks about animals and how some of the cages are empty. And he offhand mentions that there was a genetic arc.
What does that mean?
That means that whatever caused this is, post-apocalyptic dystopia, right? And it's implied to be a climate apocalypse. So it seems like America, or whatever America has become by the time we get to this in the Hunger Games timeline, made a genetic arc where they essentially saved a bunch of replicable DNA.
Oh.
And then used that to create...
The mutations?
No, everything.
Oh.
Recreate any animals that died, I guess, is what my read was.
Oh, okay. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Coriolanus had never received an official reprimand of any kind, nothing that would stain his spotless record. But he started to protest. Oh my God, Coriolanus and I react to authority the same way. But I've never been I've never messed up in my life. Oh my God. Ugh. And it's insufferable with both of us. Okay. And Highbottom's is basically get out of here before you receive a second one. And Coriolanus just decides to go back to the zoo to check on Lucy Gray. Most of the animals of the zoo had been starved or had starved or been eaten during the war. So there's not really, it's kind of a lame zoo. And he sees all of these camera people and a big crowd is in front of the cage. To his chagrin, he saw Sejanus standing.
What a phrase.
To his chagrin, he saw Sejanus standing. That's a hard sentence, Zeus. At the edge of the cage, with a large backpack beside him. He held what appeared to be a sandwich through the bars, offering it to the tributes within.
Damn, I want a sandwich now. Remember when Subway did commercials with some movie? Never mind.
For the moment, they were all hanging back. Coriolanus could not hear his words, but he seemed to be trying to coax Dill, the girl from 11, to take it. What was Sejanus up to? Was he trying to outdo him and steal the day's thunder? Oh my God, you absolute weirdo. To take his idea of coming to the zoo and then dress it up in a way Coriolanus could never compete with because he could never afford to.
Fucking clown. He has genuine empathy for this kid.
Was that whole pack filled with sandwiches?
Yes.
That girl wasn't even his tribute.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. It's called human decency.
It's called not being
butthole.
The worst. You wouldn't know anything about it.
You sentient butthole. That's why you're called anus. And Sejanus says to Coriolanus, none of them trust me. What is our voice for Sejanus?
Mine was just kind of lower.
Okay.
But you don't have to do my voice.
No, I
actually kind of think it's more fun if you do your voice and I do my voice. If you do it how you read the character and I do it how I read the character. So we're kind of both giving, None
of them trust me. And why should they? That's what Sejanus sounds like to me.
Okay. Yeah.
A self-important little girl marched up beside them and pointed to a sign on the pillar at the edge of the enclosure. It says, please don't feed the animals. You
suck.
Fucking asshole.
God damn it.
Boo.
Really, I've had enough of this, dude.
They're not animals, though, said Sejanus. They're kids, just like you and me. They're not like me, the little girl protested. They're district. That's why they belong in a cage. Nice. That indoctrination is coming along very well.
They're very good at what they do.
Once again, like me, said Sejanus dryly. Coriolanus, do you think you might get your tribute to come over? If she does, the others might. They have to be starving. So Coriolanus gets Lucy over.
Because he knows that having her there is always going to result in a better show.
Oh, yeah. No, he sees Lucy Gray, and then he says to Sejanus, I can't treat her like it's feeding time at the zoo. It was not consistent with his treatment of her as a lady to be shoving food to her through the bars.
That is true.
Not mine, but I could offer her dinner. And Sejanus says, take whatever. Mom made extra. Please. Because he's just like a decent dude.
Snow?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
No, Sejanus.
No, Sejanus. Yes, I'm so sorry. I missed that.
And he thinks to himself, never in his life, not even in the worst years, had he left home without a clean handkerchief in his pocket. Oh my God. This fucking asshole.
It's very different values. It's really interesting. I kind of like, does it really make sense that we have sort of, frankly, more of a Victorian era attitude towards things in Ballad versus a very hyper Romanized, Americanized sort of capital. Not really in 60. Well, 60 years is a long time for the culture to change, I guess.
Well,
I think it was 60 years ago was the 50s. So
yeah,
no,
I feel like it makes
60 years ago was the 60s.
still.
Yeah, okay. It makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And so he like lays that out and puts the food on it, like basically sets a table for himself and Lucy.
God, that's so, yeah, the performativity inherent in this whole thing is really appalling.
Right. He's like, it's not that he can't shove food through the bars because he wants to treat her like a person. It's that the cameras will see him doing that, and that might make them judge her. And then by extension, him.
And by the way, I kind of glanced...
he only treats her... Sorry.
You please.
So he only treats her like a person because it's performative.
I kind of glazed over this before at the end of chapter 4, but that's really the thing that Highbottom chastises him for, is that he was doing this performatively. He says, oh, so this was all a feint to like further yourself and your tribute. Okay,
and again, like this man has some kind of deeper issue with the Snow family for sure.
And by the way, Highbottom in the last chapter was kind of implying that they should maybe quit doing the games when he called it a failed experiment. I feel like we need to explicitly state that. Snow is gonna Snow is gonna be responsible for the Hunger Games continuation.
Oh, absolutely not a question about that. I feel like Highbottom hates Snow. I feel like it's gotta have something to do with his dad.
Very likely.
You know, it just feels personal. I can spot this is personal and weird from a mile away.
Yeah.
So Lucy comes over and she goes, are those sandwiches for anybody? Just for you. And she takes a bite and she says, aren't you eating? He wasn't sure.
Oh, right.
The optics so far were good. Singling her out again, presenting her as someone of value, because she wouldn't be otherwise.
The constant reminder that Snow is always hungry is great. Food comes up so often.
Right.
And scarcity. Yeah. Really good.
But he still sees himself as better than everyone else.
Yep.
Yeah. He's not starved of that attitude.
Nope.
But to eat with her, that might cross a line. I'd rather you haven't. Keep up your strength. Why? So I can break Jessup's neck in the arena? We both know that's not my forte.
Well, you've said it now.
His stomach growled at the smell of the sandwich. Ooh, she did say it. She did say it.
That's out in the world.
And I can't help but notice that, like, the capital people do eat with the tributes. Like, Effie eats with...
Yeah. Oh, you mean in the main trilogy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, now that's, something that happens. His stomach growled at the smell of the sandwich, a thick slice of meatloaf on white bread. God, now I want a sandwich.
I am hungry,
He missed his lunch at the academy today, and breakfast and supper had been meager at home. A dollop of ketchup oozing out of Lucy Gray's sandwich tipped the scale. He lifted the second sandwich and sank his teeth in. A little shock of delight ran through his body, and he resisted the impulse to devour the sandwich in a couple of bites. So, like, I love the juxtaposition between Sejanus and Coriolanus and why they do this.
Yeah.
Because Sejanus is clearly doing this because he sees them as people.
Yup. It is such a stark contrast.
Right? And he's like,
he feels bad.
It could be me in another life.
I bet his dad sent him there to do this, thinking of it performatively.
But he means
But
it.
he genuinely was like, no, I want to give them food.
I don't know if his dad knows about it because his mother made the sandwiches.
Oh, you're right.
So, like, I feel like he and his mother feel bad, but his father wants them to fit in at the capital.
That's a great point.
But they're never going to.
No. Well,
do you think the capital's going to let them forget that they're district trash?
No, I don't think so.
After all they've been through?
I think that the racism, classism, ethnoism is kind of impossible to overcome for these people.
No. So then once the tributes start seeing this, like, Jessup comes first. Lucy calls to them and is like, they're real good. You should all get some. And, like, Jessup comes first. And then all of the other tributes start, like, grabbing food as fast as they can. Except the only tribute who had not approached Sejanus was his own, the boy from District 2. He stood at the back of the cage, arms folded across his colossal frame, staring down his mentor. Sejanus pulled one final sandwich from the backpack and held it out to him. Marcus, this is for you. Take it, please. But Marcus remained stone-faced and immobile. Please, Marcus. You must be starving. Marcus looked Sejanus up and down and then pointedly turned his back on him.
See, this is why I don't think that Marcus is going to like come around on Sejanus, because that's the wrong capitulation. The capitulation is going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if he comes around on Sejanus, that implies that Sejanus and his status as district person turned capital citizen is right and acceptable. And I'm not saying that, district trash can never... What I'm saying is that upward, quote-unquote, upward mobility that way would then be seen as a thing to be desired, like, morally.
I think for
you
me,
get what
it's
I'm saying? Or am I just, like,
less
saying words?
And it's more Marcus and Sejanus coming to an understanding of, like, we both are in shitty situations.
Okay. No, I can see that.
Capital aside, like,
Yeah,
we're
that's
both
different. I
being
can see that.
exploited in different ways.
Okay. I can see that.
And, like, this is shitty, period.
Yeah.
Because I do think Marcus is going to have to start trusting Sejanus to a certain extent, right? Because,
Maybe. He's a burly fucking dude. He might just be
or maybe
like...
not. Maybe
I'm fresh,
Marcus.
fuck it.
Maybe Marcus does attack Sejanus. You know what? I could see it going either way. And the news cameras come, and they interview them. And Snow's worried about sharing the spotlight, but also thinking Sejanus' presence could protect him because Dean Highbottom couldn't give a demerit to the son of the man who rebuilt the academy. And the reporter says, "What's he up to? Bringing fancy sandwiches to the tributes.
Fancy
Surely
sandwiches.
the capital feeds them." That's my reporter voice.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
And
reporter
Lucy
voice.
says, "Oh, for the record, Oh, for the record, the last I ate was the night before the reaping."
I last ate the night... You were right.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I was watching... No, that's funny. I was watching you read it and going, that is not the order the words are in.
Oh, you're right. "Oh, for the record, the last I ate was the night before the
you did it wrong
reaping."
again. It's not what it says.
I last ate the night before the reaping.
Michael Kramer and Kate Redding did this thing at WatCon where they talked about how you will read the line out loud and you will swear to yourself that that's what it says, and you will hear the line back and you will look at the page and go, that's definitely right. And then the author will point at it and go, this is not correct. And you will go, huh.
Son of a gun. So I guess it's been 3 days. Oh, okay, well then. You enjoy that sandwich. So the reporter signals the camera to turn back to the other tributes. What a fuckface. But Lucy Gray was on her feet in a flash. Can't let that camera get away from her.
She knows what she's doing.
Leaning into the bars and pulling back the focus. "You know, Mr. Reporter, what might be nice? If anybody has any food to spare, they might bring it on back down to the zoo. No fun watching the games if we're all too weak to fight, don't you think?" There's some truth to that.
Wow, feels like an interesting thing that might happen later and be,
Some truth to that. And so, yeah, basically she's soliciting the citizens for food. And Coriolanus gets a little uncomfortable with that because that might seem like a condemnation of the capital.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute.
And Coriolanus apologizes for not bringing her food, and she reveals that she's been eating the rose petals.
Oh, God.
And he says that he thinks it might be a good idea for her to sing again. And she says, it might be at that. "So as my mentor, what do you get out of this? You're at school, right? So you get what? A better grade the more I shine?" He says, "Maybe."
Well, yes, you're dead on, actually, yes.
Here in the relative privacy of the corner, he realized for the first time that she would be dead in a few days. Well, of course, he'd always known that. But he had thought about her more as his contender, his filly in a race, his dog in a fight. The more he had treated her as something special, the more she'd become human. As Sejanus had told the little girl, Lucy Gray was not really an animal, even if she was not capital. And he was here doing what? Showboating, like Dean Highbottom had said?
I mean,
wow,
yes.
Awareness. I don't even know what I get, really. They've never had mentors before. You don't have to sing, I know. But if people like you, they might bring you more food. We don't have much extra at home. His cheeks burned in the dark. Why on earth had he admitted that to her? No, I always thought you had plenty to spare in the capital.
Because she's very good at getting on your
Oh, no. Especially not during the war. One time I ate half a jar of paste just to stop the pains in my stomach.
Good golly.
Yeah? How was it? He surprised himself by laughing. Really sticky. I'll bet. Sounds better than some of the stuff I made do with. Not to make this a competition.
Yeah, but you're always going to be worse off than him, realistically. So I think you'd win. So go ahead, make it a competition.
He says, of course not. Grinning back. Okay, come on. He's got it bad.
Oh, no. Yeah, they're flirting.
I was thinking about this. We took a quick break and during the course of this podcast so that I could make dinner and you could go run some errands. And I was thinking about just like how this might play out. I just think that because I was like, yes, on the one hand, I think that he like has creepy feelings for her, like I think that's definitely possible.
I don't think they're creepy. They're basically of an age. It is creepy in that she is essentially dependent on him for survival. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that, well, my meaning is that I think he is creepy about her. He will become creepy about her.
Like after she rejects him?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I don't see them ending up together, but yeah, I could see her rejecting him.
But I think that she uses him.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I agree with that.
Like Lucy is about to gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss her way through President Snow, and I'm here for it. It's what he deserves.
Yes.
Because I feel like she knows she's playing this guy like
she's smart. She's smart. She's savvy.
Yeah, and he says, of course not. Look, I'm sorry. I'll find you some food. You shouldn't have to perform for it. Well, this wouldn't be the first time I sang for my supper. Okay, the way that she's writing her feels Southern.
It does feel Southern.
Well, this wouldn't be the first time I sang for my supper. Not by a long shot. And I do so love to sing. And the zoo's closing, and he says, I ought to be going. But I'll see you tomorrow. You know where to find me.
In the fucking cage. Nothing loaded about that imagery.
Yeah. And he gives her, because she was cleaning her face earlier, he gives her his handkerchief so that she has something to dry her face with.
Right.
And she says, thanks. I left mine at home. Lucy Gray's mention of home hung in the air between them. A reminder of a door she'd never reopen, loved ones she'd never see again. He couldn't stand the thought of being torn from his own home. The apartment was the one place he unquestioningly belonged. His safe harbor, his family's stronghold. Since he didn't know how else to respond, he simply nodded goodnight. And then she sings, and it was the same song his mom used to sing him at bedtime.
Right. Another song.
And everybody was watching, and the camera was on her. He thought of the photo in the silver frame he kept on the nightstand by his bed. His beautiful mother holding him when he was about 2. They were looking at each other, laughing. Try as he might, he could never remember the moment the picture was taken. But this song caressed his brain, calling her from the depths. He could sense her presence, almost smell the delicate scent of the rose powder she wore. Freud is screaming.
No.
And feel the warm blanket of security that had enveloped him each night.
This is not Freudian at all. No. Also, I've been told we should actually read the songs.
Oh.
Because the songs apparently actually matter. And all that there have been a lot
I
of
have
them.
been joking about not reading the songs.
No. I mean,
the songs.
discuss them.
Oh, okay. Down in the valley, valley so low. The whole song? It's a long song. Okay.
I don't know. People just were like, the songs matter.
I trust our listeners.
It is called the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Listen, I trust. I'm assuming Lucy is the songbird and Coriolanus is the snake.
Yeah, that's my reckoning.
That is my assumption. Snakes are venomous.
Snakes poison.
Poison.
Venom, yeah, whatever.
Are they venomous or poisonous?
Poisonous means that it's bad to eat it. Venomous means it's bad if it eats you.
Down in the valley, valley so low. Late in the evening, hear the train blow.
Loaded,
considering what just happened. The train love, hear the train blow. Late in the evening, hear the train blow. Go build me a mansion, build it so high, so I can see my true love go by. See him go by, love, see him go by, so I can see my true love go by. Go write me a letter, send it by mail, bake it and stamp it to the capital jail. Capital jail, love, to the capital jail. Bake it and stamp it to the capital jail. Roses are red, love, violets are blue. Birds in the heavens know I love you. Know I love you, oh, know I love you. Birds in the heavens know I love you. And he says that his mom used to sing him the same song, but it had different words.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So like
that's a love song.
I feel like the Capitol would just take it and change it.
Turn it into something else.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the train feels like a train taking them to jail, maybe? Oh, wait, no. The person is in jail.
Yeah, the person's in jail. The trains are going by, so life is continuing even though they are not part of it.
Right. Oh, which is relevant considering that she's in a
jail.
Essentially a jail.
And that life goes on, but hers probably won't.
And the person who's in the jail wants the person outside of the jail. I mean, these feel very much like songs that people wrote in a rebellion fashion, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But the person in the jail wants the person outside of the jail to like build a mansion so that like a super tall mansion so that they can see
out of the jail to
the
them.
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a woman in jail or a man who has a love who's also a man.
Sure.
But the pronouns that they're using for the love is him.
Well, and you might,
change
it based on who's singing.
Nah. And then it says, roses are red, love, violets are blue.
We've heard
Birds
that
in the
one.
heavens know I love you. No, I love you. Oh, no, I love you. Birds in the heavens know I love you.
It's good song.
I almost wonder if she's picking this song too as like, I feel like she's playing a game still.
She's absolutely playing a game. Or it's once again very simple and we're overcomplicating everything.
Yeah. But
It's
then,
an eternal question.
And he says that she wore the rose powder, his mother, before she died, before that awful stretch of days a few months into the war, when the first major rebel air raid had immobilized the city, when she went into labor and they were unable to get her to the hospital.
Right.
And something had gone wrong.
Okay.
Hemorrhage, maybe, a great deal of blood soaking the sheets, and Cook and the grandmam trying to stop it, and Tigress dragging him from the room. Then she was gone. And the baby, who would have been his sister, she was gone too. The death of his father came right on the heels of his mother's, but that loss had not howled out the world in the same way. Well, yeah, it sounds like your father was a dickhead, and your mom was great.
Yeah, he had a good relationship with her. So that helps.
Coriolanus still kept his mother's compact in a drawer in his nightstand. In difficult times, when he had trouble falling asleep, he would click it open and inhale the rose scent of the silken cake of powder within.
That's 3.
It never failed to calm him with the memory of how it had felt to be loved like that.
Man, I forgot there were 3 roses in the first 5 chapters when I made this bingo. Okay, we're going to adjust this to rose count 7+.
You don't have to.
I do, because I feel like it's cheap. I'm banking on 2 more roses when we've gotten 3 in the first 5 chapters.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, it's rose count 7+.
What if it's 5 from here out? Because you already had read this part.
I had remembered 1, so I was guessing 4 more from here out. So rose count 7+ should work.
Okay. Bombs and blood. That was how the rebels had killed his mother. He wondered if they had killed Lucy Gray's too. Just her pearly white bones. She seemed to have no love for District 12, always separating herself from it, saying she was it Covey? I feel like the Capitol killed her. No?
I mean, it's most
it would be
likely.
Very convenient if... why would they kill her?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe she stole food, maybe they were just racist against the Covey. I don't know. There's any number of reasons.
I
feel like they have an opportunity to do something with Lucy Gray where she doesn't have any loyalty to either faction,
Oh, I definitely think that's the case.
Yeah, and I think that if the Capitol killed her mom, pretty strong fuck the Capitol vibes there. Whereas if the Capitol was generally oppressive and then District 12 was shitty and killed her mom, that gives her more room to be a little more ambivalent.
Killed her, allowed her to die.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they'd kill the Covey.
Not actively, no, but yeah, I know what you mean.
But I feel like they'd be like, let's put us first.
Yeah, something shitty like that.
And that could lead to her death. I mean, like, the rebels didn't technically kill Snow's mom either, but it was a casualty. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was a consequence to rebel action.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for stepping up. Sejanus' voice startled him. He had been sitting a few feet back, concealed by one of the boulders, listening to the song.
I like this guy.
And Coriolanus says it was nothing. And he says, I doubt any of our other classmates would have helped me.
Yeah, but Coriolanus is being a selfish asshole, so he's really not helping you, Seji.
And, right. And Coriolanus said, none of our other classmates have even made an appearance. That already sets us apart. What made you think of feeding the tributes? Sejanus looked down at the empty backpack by his feet. Ever since the reaping, I keep imagining I'm one of them. Coriolanus almost laughed before he realized Sejanus was serious. That seems like an odd pastime. I can't help it. Sejanus' voice dropped so low, Coriolanus had to strain to hear it. They read my name. I walked to the stage. Now they've cuffed me. Now they're hitting me for no reason. Now I'm on the train, in the dark, starving, alone except for kids I'm supposed to kill. Now I'm on display with all these strangers bringing their children to stare at me through the bars. The sound of rusty wheels turning drew their attention to the monkey house. A dozen or so bales of hay came bursting out of the chute and rolled into a heap on the cage floor. I wonder if this is a direct result of a Lucy saying they haven't fed us, giving them beds. I don't think they would have done it otherwise.
No,
Because it feels weird that they're giving them comfort after not giving them anything to eat for 3 days.
Hay is hardly comfort.
I mean, it's better than nothing.
Hay is what you give animals. This is still loaded imagery.
It's still loaded imagery, but like they didn't have to give them hay either.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's good, but
Sure.
I'm saying, is it possible that they did this in part because Lucy called them out?
No, because I feel like Lucy calling them out would actually make them double down more.
You do?
Yes.
I feel like they'd want to look good. No?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to take Snow being like, no, we need people to get into it for that to really happen.
Yeah. And Sejanus says, look, that must be my bed. It isn't going to happen to you, Sejanus. It could have, though. Easily. If we weren't so rich now. I would be back in District 2, maybe still in school or maybe in the mines, but definitely in the reaping. You saw my tribute?
They have mines there.
He's hard to miss. I think there's a good chance he'll win. He was my classmate. You know, before I came here.
That's my
back
buddy.
home. His name's Marcus. Not a friend exactly, but certainly not an enemy. One day I caught my finger in the door, smashed it good, and he scooped a cup of snow off the windowsill to bring down the swelling. Didn't even ask the teacher, just did it. Do you think he remembers you?
Yeah, dude.
You were little.
What
A
do you
lot has
think?
happened since then.
Yes, he fucking remembers you, and he resents the shit out of you.
He remembers me.
Snow, you're so dumb sometimes, kid.
The Plinths are notorious back home. Notorious and deeply despised. And now you're his mentor. And now I'm his mentor. He wouldn't take a sandwich from me. He'd rather go into the game starving than take food from my hand. It's not your fault. I know. I'm so blameless. I'm choking on it. He'll still win. Oh, and Marcus, like, the two boys fight over the same bale of hay, and Marcus basically, like, tosses them apart like rag dolls.
Yeah.
And Coriolanus says, he'll still win. Any one of us would have been happy to get him. Really? Then take him. He's yours. You're not serious.
I remember this, yeah.
100%. I want you to have him, and I'll take Lucy Gray. It will still be horrible, but at least I won't know her. I know the crowd likes her, but what good will that do her in the arena? There's no way she'll beat him. Trade tributes with me. Win the games. Take the glory. Please, Coriolanus. I would never forget the favor. For a moment, Coriolanus could taste it. The sweetness of victory. The cheers from the crowd. He could make Lucy Gray a favorite. If he could make Lucy Gray a favorite, imagine what he could do with a powerhouse like Marcus. And really, what chance did she have? His eyes traveled to Lucy Gray leaning against the bars like a trapped animal. In the shadowy light, her color, her specialness had faded, making her just another drab, bruised creature. Nice.
You're so sweet, Snow.
I fucking love this guy.
What a guy.
What a sweetheart. And he's going to be like, I don't understand why, like, she doesn't like me. I'm so nice. Fuck you. Okay. Not much of a match for the other. I watch as it's like not at all where this goes.
Oh, I love it when we're wrong. It's more fun when we're wrong.
I know, but I'm doubling down. I'm tripling down. The idea of her defeating Marcus was laughable. I bet she does. Like pitting a songbird against a grizzly bear. His mouth was forming the word done when he stopped. To win with Marcus was no win at all. It took no brains or skill or even particular luck.
You jackass.
To win with Lucy Gray would be an incredible long shot, but historic if he pulled it off. Besides, was winning even the point, or was it to engage the audience? Thanks to him,
You jackass.
Lucy Gray was the... Thanks to him, Lucy Gray was the current star of the games. The most memorable tribute, no matter who won. I bet she would be memorable without you.
Yeah. He helped, admittedly, but no.
He thought of their hands locked together in the Zeus as they took on the world, They were a team.
No,
She trusted him.
No, it's not the same thing as a team. I understand what he's saying, but no, they're not a fucking team.
They're not a team. He couldn't imagine telling her he dumped her for Marcus, or even worse, telling the audience. In addition, what guarantee did he have that Marcus would respond to him any more than he did Sejanus? This is true. I'm assuming Marcus is not going to be a fan of anybody's.
No.
He seemed like just the kind to stonewall the lot of them. And then Coriolanus would look like a fool, begging for a crumb of attention from Marcus while Lucy graded pirouettes around Sejanus. There was one more consideration. He had something Sejanus Plinth wanted, and wanted badly. Sejanus had already usurped his position, his inheritance, his clothes, his candy, his sandwiches, and the privilege due a Snow. Now he was coming for his apartment, his spot at the university, his very future, and had the gall to be resentful of his good fortune, to reject it, to consider it a punishment even. It is.
A little bit.
You know. But I wouldn't expect you to know that, or have any dash of empathy. If having Marcus as a tribute made Sejanus squirm, then good. Let him squirm. Lucy Gray was one thing belonging to Coriolanus that he would never, ever get. I'm just saying my love triangle theory is looking real good right now.
Sejanus doesn't care.
No, I don't think that Sejanus cares. I think if Lucy shows Sejanus any attention at all.
Oh yeah, Snow's gonna go fucking off. That I agree. Yeah.
Anyway,
good chapters.
Hold on. This is the last line, and you know Suze always does a banger.
She always does.
Sorry, my friend, he said mildly, but I think I'll keep her. And that's the end of chapter 5.
It's good.
She's already crushing the game. How many years later? Once again.
She's very good at what she does.
I just fucking love her. I do.
Me too. Hot take. Suzanne Collins is a good writer.
Suzanne Collins is an excellent writer. I want to know how many people rejected Hunger Games because it was too violent.
I bet a lot.
I bet there were a lot of publishers who wouldn't touch it.
I bet a lot.
Yeah. And you know what?
They're lost. So we're going to do chapters 6 through 9 for next time. Maybe we'll be able to record all of 4 of them. Maybe we'll break it up into parts because we don't shut up. So regardless,
you know us by now,
if you're
probably.
reading along with us, you should read through chapter 6 before the next episode. Through chapter 9 before the next episode. It's late. Thanks for listening, everyone. We have social media.
Wait, read through chapter 9?
Yeah, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Okay.
We have social media. If you want to know what we've got going on, it's linked down below. We also have a Patreon. If you want to support us that way, it's patreon.com/wheeltakes. And you can always leave us a rating and a review, which is easy and quick. Other than that, we got to do the thing again. Last time we did try to say at the same time. Do you want to do one word
yes.
story?
Oh my god, like that improv game, Dr. Know-It-All.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anus
is
a
really
great
name
for
a
dickhead.
Right? Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.